Today we're going to be talking with Shannon about trust and how they affect you and your house. So Shannon, could you introduce yourself?
Of course, thank you. My name is Shannon Sullivan. I'm an attorney in Troy, Michigan at the Acton Sullivan Law Firm.
Welcome, Shannon. And I'm Joseph White. I'm a realtor with Century 21 Professionals in Troy, Michigan. So let's start with the first question. Should I put my home or investment property into a trust?
In most situations, it is a wise idea to put your home or investment property into a trust, and there can be many reasons for that. First and foremost, most people want to avoid probate court. So a trust is a good tool to use to avoid the probate process, which can be expensive, drawn out, and tedious. Another potential reason could be control of the assets that are in your trust. You dictate the terms of your trust, so it's nice to maintain that control over your property.
Oh, that's very good. And then, what type of trust is best for holding real estate?
So most often a revocable living trust is used to hold a residential property and potentially an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
There are other types of trusts, and the nice thing about a trust is your professional who is assisting you with that can tailor that trust to your specific needs.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know. Number 4, how does putting real estate in a trust affect taxes, insurance, and financing?
Yeah, so taxes are not greatly affected for revocable living trusts, at least here in Michigan. There is no uncapping of the property taxes upon transfer into a revocable living trust in Michigan. Of course, if you're outside of Michigan, you would need to check the laws in that state. And as to the homeowners insurance, it is a wise idea that once you transfer property into a trust, that you at a minimum add the trust on as an additional insured to your homeowners insurance policy, just to make sure there's no lapse in coverage. As to the refinancing, some lenders are not fond of refinancing a property that is already in a trust, but there are easy solutions for that. Either find a lender who is willing to do that, or alternatively, you can briefly transfer the property out of your trust, do the refinancing process, and then transfer the property back into your trust, which is really quite a simple process.
That's great. So they have options open to them too. And can a trust help manage or pass down rental or vacational properties?
Yes, absolutely. So a trust can be a good tool to pass down rental or investment properties. That might include an Airbnb, a cottage, a duplex, any property that you may own. And the reason for that is a trust can be very specific on how that property is managed, who that property is managed by, and what would happen ultimately to that property, either upon your passing or even your incapacitation.
Oh, that's wonderful. So that's good for those investors out there that want to know, or if you are individually renting out properties. And then finally, what happens to the property if I become incapacitated or pass away?
So if you do become incapacitated or upon your death, the trust terms would control what would happen to your property. So first and foremost, you would have designated who would take charge of that process. And then you could also designate the terms of the management, how expenses are paid, whether the property is immediately sold, whether it's held on to for a period of time, and the benefits from that property paid out to specific heirs, and then ultimately the distribution and or sale of that property.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, what would your phone number be, or an email address that they could contact you at?
Absolutely. So my office phone number is 248-973-1100. My office is located at 2950 West Square Lake Road. I'm in Suite 206, again in Troy, Michigan, 48098. And a good email address for me would be Shannon, SHANNON, at actonsullivanlaw.com, and that's spelled ACTON SOLIVENLAW.com.
And we'll put items into the comments area so you can connect to that as well. So Shannon, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out today to visit with us, give us a little bit idea of what a trust is and how we can use a trust when we're working with our real estate agents.
It's my pleasure, Joseph. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, and keep in touch for our next video. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.